Hello class, today's lesson is on adding rational expressions. Since rational expressions are actually a type of fraction, let's look at a regular fraction and how we would add it first. Suppose we have 2/4 plus 3/4. These are called like fractions, and we just add the numerators because they have a common denominator, and we get 5/4. But suppose we have unlike fractions, 3/5 plus 2/3. We can't add them the way they are, so we need a common denominator. The common denominator is the least common multiple of 3 and 5. The least common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. So we need to build each fraction to have that LCM of 15. So we have to multiply 3/5 by 5 times 3 gives us 15. Multiplying the numerator by the same thing, we get 9. And likewise, we do the same thing to 2/3. We want that to have a denominator of 15. So we multiply that denominator by 5, and multiplying the numerator by the same thing, we get 10. Now notice we've just changed how the fraction looks. 3/5 has the same value as 9/15. 2/3 has the same value of 10/15. You can put that in your calculator and see. 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, just like 9 divided by 15 is. And so likewise with the 2/3 and 10/15. But now we have like fractions. So in place of 3/5 we write 9/15, and in place of 2/3 we write 10/15. And now we combine the numerators, and we get 19/15. So just like we do that with regular fractions, we're going to do the same thing with rational expressions, adding rational expressions. Our first example with adding rational expressions, we have 1 over 3 plus x plus 5 over 3 plus x. Notice that these are like rational expressions, so we're going to add the numerators because we have a common denominator. The common denominator is 3 plus x. So when we add 1 plus 5, we get 6 over 3 plus x. And this is our final answer. Remember, you cannot cancel the 6 and the 3. So now let's look at one where we have to actually find a common denominator. 2x plus 7 over x minus 6 plus 3x over 6 minus x. Now notice that the denominators almost look alike. We have x minus 6, 6 minus x, and they are exactly the opposites. We have a positive x, a negative 6, and a positive 6. So I'm going to make one look like the other by factoring out a negative 1. We're used to seeing x minus 6, so let's make the 6 minus x look like the x minus 6. I do that by factoring out a negative 1. When I do that, we end up with negative 1 times x minus 6, and you can check that. Multiply it back. Negative 1 times x gives us negative x. Negative 1 times negative 6 gives us positive 6. Now, next I'm going to rewrite that so we can see that we actually have a common denominator. But the question is, what do we do with that negative 1? I'm going to move it to the numerator because it doesn't matter whether the numerator or the denominator carries the negative 1. Now we're ready to simplify. Now notice that we do have a common denominator of x minus 6. So we can write everything over that denominator and combine like terms. Negative 3x and x is negative x plus 7 over x minus 6. That is your answer. You can write it like this, or you can write it as 7 minus x over x minus 6. Either way. We have one last example. 2 over t squared plus t minus 6 plus 3 over t squared minus 9. The first thing we want to do is to notice that these fractions are not like. They don't have a common denominator. So we need to find the LCM of t squared plus t minus 6 and t squared minus 9. Well, how do we do that? We need to fully factor each one. So when we factor t squared plus t minus 6, we end up with t plus 3 times t minus 2. Remember, trinomial leading coefficient of 1. We're looking for two numbers that when multiplied together give us negative 6, and when added together give us positive 1. That's positive 3 and negative 2. T squared minus 9 is the difference of two squares, so that factor times t minus 3. So next, we need to pull the highest factor, or highest exponent, of each factor. Since none of these factors have an exponent, it's assumed to be 1. So we have a t plus 3 to the first here, and a t plus 3 to the first here. This is going to be our LCM. So our highest power is just t plus 3 to the first. We have a t minus 2 to the first here, no t minus 2 over here. So that gives us times t minus 2. And lastly, we have a t minus 3 to the first here, none over here. So times t minus 3. That's our LCM. So our next step is we have to build each rational expression to have that LCM. So let's look at 2 over, and instead of writing it as t squared plus t minus 6, we're going to write it in its factored form. So that's t plus 3 times t minus 2. We want to multiply it by something so that it has the LCM that we want, which is t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. We can see that all that's missing is a t minus 3. That's what we need to multiply by. So we need to multiply the numerator and denominator by that. So that means we need to distribute the 2 to both of these terms. And when we do that, we get 2 times t is 2t, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So up here, we can write 2 over t squared plus t minus 3 as 2t minus 6 over t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. Now, we need to do the same thing with the 3 over t squared minus 9. So we have 3 over, and once again, let's put a little divider here. Once again, instead of writing it as 3 over t squared minus 9, we're going to write it in its factored form as t plus 3 times t minus 3. And we want to multiply it by something so that we get the LCM that we want, which is t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. Okay, so we see what's missing. We're missing a t minus 2. Once again, we need to distribute the 3. When we do that, we get 3 t minus 6. So that's what goes in place of the 3 over t squared minus 9. We have 3t minus 6 over our denominator of t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. Now that we see that we have a common denominator, we can write everything over one denominator. So our common denominator is t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. And we combine our numerators. We have 2t minus 6 plus 3t minus 6. Combining like terms, 2t plus 3t is 5t. Negative 6 and negative 6 is negative 12 over t plus 3 times t minus 2 times t minus 3. This is our final answer. We would look to see if this is in lowest terms. There's nothing we can do to factor out a common factor with the 5t and the negative 12. So this is our final answer, and you can leave the denominator in factored form. Guys, I am having a ball with this math channel. And if you like it, please like, comment, and share. Be sure and leave me comments. I love to read what you're interested in, so I'll know what videos to do. And by all means, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe today. It's a way that we can stay connected. Turn your notifications on and you'll see whenever I upload a new video. That way we can stay connected and I can help you. Remember, in order to learn math, you gotta do math. You got this. Class dismissed.